Adolescence. Human growth and development is characterized by several distinct and unique stages. It begins with the conception and ends at death. Like any other stages, this stage, adolescence, is also an important stage. Usually, it begins at the age of 10 to 12 and concludes somewhere between 18 to 21 years of age. It is important that age alone does not signify the beginning and end. Achieving key developmental milestone indicates when a particular stage of development has begun or concluded. So, before going to the details, please remember to subscribe this channel. Thank you. Adolescence is the period of transition between the childhood and the adulthood. It includes big changes to the body and to the way you think. Many physical, sexual, cognitive, social and emotional changes is happening during this time. And these changes can bring anxiety and anticipation for both the children and their family. But if you understand what to expect at different stages, then it can promote a healthy development because you know already what is going to happen and you will get adjusted and you get accepted to the reality. So it will help for a healthy development throughout the adolescence and into early adulthood. The stages of adolescence are early adolescence, that is from the age 10 to 13, then middle, it is from 14 to 17, and the late adolescence from 18 to 21. Physical development during adolescence. The body usually experiences a growth spurt. That means a visible change in the growth is seen. A rapid growth in height and weight. Then puberty happens during this adolescence period. That is the time period of maturation where the sexual organs mature. Changes in the body is occurring due to the hormonal disbalance. New sex hormones are produced and the changes that occur in the body due to this hormonal disbalance is known as secondary sexual characters. The primary sexual characters are those which we use to identify a boy and a girl. Example, at the time of birth. That is, the vagina and the penis are the primary sexual characters. Few changes are similar in both genders, while few are different in male and female. And these changes are gender specific. Rapid changes in the body can be exciting, sometimes scary and confusing. Some adolescents may mature early, while others experience a late maturation. And both of this, while early or late, can cause stress because you feel like you are standing out from your friends. This is because you are waiting or you are wanting to fit in with the peers. You just want to be similar like peers. So, if it is an early maturation or a late maturation, you will get stressed. Then nutrition and physical fitness is important. The rapid physical development during the adolescence requires an increased number of calories for girls and boys. The challenge during this time is making sure that teens are consuming a sufficient balance of appropriate foods. The two extreme nutritional issues during the adolescence are obesity and eating disorders, both of which can have negative physical and psychological effect on the youth. Then sleep. Getting enough sleep during the adolescence is crucial for optimal physical and cognitive development. Usually, adolescents need an average of 9 hours of sleep. Remember, 9 hours of sleep is needed for an adolescent. This is also when adolescents' internal clock shift, making them they want to go to bed later and they want to sleep later in the morning. So they are making shift of the internal clock. Then there will be academic demands, then social demands like using the social media through smartphone, etc. can cause the teen to go to bed later. This can lead to sleep deprivation and it can result in lower grades, depressive symptoms, and difficulty with mood regulation. So these are the major physical changes that happens during the adolescent period. Cognitive development. Here in this diagram you can see this is the brain of a 5-year-old and this is the brain of a 20-year-old. So during the 15 years the brain had matured. All these red or the brownish color shows the less matured part, and by the age of 20 the brain become fully matured or more matured. So a rapid development of the brain is seen during the adolescent age. They become independent from their family and they start making their own decisions. This is because there will be developmental changes in the brain and their cognitive ability will be advanced. So the brain develop and there will be the cognitive advancement. So it helps in making decision and to be independent. What happens in the brain is there will be more neurons are growing rapidly and the interconnection between the neurons will be increasing. So this helps or this allows for more complex and sophisticated thinking. So during the cognitive development, the child become more independent and start taking their own decision. Psychosocial development during adolescent. There will be a change in their behavior. Abstract reasoning and adolescent rebellion are the typical type of adolescent behavior. And these behavior can create challenges for them, their family, and the other adult who work with them. This area of development focus on identity. That is, during the adolescent period, the child focus on their identity because they are no more a child and didn't become an adult. It is a transition period from the childhood to the adulthood. So there will be an identity crisis. The adolescent have more complex thinking ability and they can start to see how they are different from others and from their family. Each child will look for individuality in their search for identity. For example, in a family, if the first child decided to be a serious intellectual guy, then the second may become a jokester. Seeing these two places, the third may become an athlete. So each child will look for an individuality. For what? For their identity. When a child cannot find his identity, then an identity crisis will manifest. Then issues around self-esteem. They are more common. as they begin to differentiate themselves from others while experiencing the physical changes in their body. Self-esteem can be complex experience, as some adolescents may have high self-esteem in their family life, but low self-esteem among their peers or the academic performance. The adolescent self-esteem, it includes the thoughts, feelings, sensations, and experiences they have had throughout their lives. The self-esteem, it helps us to accept ourselves and value our unique qualities. We should know our weakness also, but we should also be aware of our strength and let them shine. So we know both the strength and the weakness we know, and we should let the strength and shine. It is not about being egotistical. It is about being realistic and feeding our self-worth. That is to be real. Understand both the strength and weakness in ourselves. The self-esteem is a sign of respect for yourself and others. The quick advances in the brain will also help the adolescent to become future-oriented and begin to be able to plan for their future. So, we have seen that there will be advances in the brain. It helps the adolescent to become future-oriented and they can plan for the future. Puberty and adolescence. Both the puberty and adolescence are connected to each other, giving links about how these changes are happening inside our body at the teenage. Puberty and adolescence are linked with each other but are not the same. Puberty tells us about the change in our physical appearance, where adolescence tells us about the physiological and behavioral changes that is happening inside our body, whether you are a girl or a boy. When we all hit puberty, it leads to adolescence. The adolescence is a stage of an age and the puberty is a process that happens during the adolescence. The changes that the puberty brings, it vary from person to person. The puberty occurs when the brain begins to produce hormones known as gonadotropin, and the gonads produce sex hormones. The adolescent is the period of child's life when he or she achieves a reproductive maturity. That is, during the adolescent time, a boy or a girl achieves reproductive maturity. This is indicated by variety of alterations in the body, that is, changes happen within your body. So, puberty is the process by which these changes occur, and it starts at the age of 10. The human becomes capable of reproduction after the puberty sets in. Testosterone is the male hormone and estrogen is the female hormone. The testes begin to release testosterone in men, and this causes the development of facial hair, pubic hair, chest hair and a deep voice in boys. The hormone estrogen is produced by the ovaries in female or in girls, and it results in the breast augmentation and menstruation. When a child reaches puberty, the mammary glands begin to grow. So these changes will happen during the adolescent age because of the process of puberty. And during adolescence, the thicker uterine lining sheds along with the egg in girls, and these result in menstruation or the menstrual bleeding, and it happens every 28 to 30 days. Menarche is the first menstrual flow, and menopause is the stop or the end of the menstrual cycle, and it happens around the age of 50. When both puberty and adolescence ends, it indicates the sign of mature. So, around the age of 19 to 21, the puberty and the adolescence ends, and it indicates the sign of maturity. Major concerns during the adolescent period. Delinquency. It refers to variety of behavior. It ranges from unacceptable behavior, legal offense, to criminal act. Truancy, running away from home, stealing or burglary, or acts of vandalism are some of the examples. The adolescents with delinquency and behavioral problem tend to have negative self-identity, decreased trust, and low level of achievement. The delinquency is often associated with low parental support, inappropriate discipline, and family discord. That is, delinquency is often seen in family with several problems. Often the adolescent from communities characterized by the poverty, unemployment, and having feelings of alienation from the middle class perform antisocial acts to gain attention and to be popular with their peers. So there are social causes also for this delinquency. However, most of the delinquent children do not remain delinquent forever. The changes in their peer group, becoming more aware of their social responsibilities, and developing the feelings of role models, breaking negative attitude, and overcoming the poor self-concept help in the reduction of these kinds of behavior. Then another major concern is substance abuse. Some adolescents take a recourse to smoking and drugs as a way of coping with stress. We have learned that the adolescent period is a transition period. Various changes occur in your body and it can lead to anxiety or stress. To deal with this stress, some adolescents will depend on substance abuse. It can interfere with the development of coping skills and responsible decision making. The kids who are more vulnerable to drugs, alcohol, and nicotine use are impulsive, aggressive, anxious, depressive, and unpredictable. They have a low self-esteem and low expectation for achievement. The drug use, if continued, then it can lead to physiological dependency on the drug. The positive relationship with parents, peers, siblings, and adults play an important role in preventing the drug abuse. Then another major concern is eating disorder. The adolescent obsession with self-living in fantasy and peer companion lead to certain conditions where they become obsessed with their own bodies. Anorexia nervosa. It is an eating disorder that involves a relentless pursuit of thinness through starvation. So, the kids during the adolescent age become more concerned about their body. They want to maintain their body so thin. So, they quit eating or eat very less, and it can lead to a condition known as anorexia nervosa. Then another is bulimia nervosa. It is another form of eating disorder, and here there will be binge eating. Eat a lot and then there will be a self-induced vomiting. Then they will do fasting. So, mix of these can lead to bulimia nervosa. So, these are the major concerns during the adolescent age. Now, let's have a quick recap on what we have learned. We have learned the 3 stages of the adolescence: early adolescence, middle adolescence, and late adolescence. Then various developmental aspects: physical development, cognitive development, and psychosocial development in the adolescence. And we have learned the difference between the puberty and adolescence. So puberty is a process and adolescence is a stage where the process happens. And the major concerns like delinquency, substance abuse, and eating disorders. Hope you like this video. Please subscribe and share. Thank you and keep smiling.